What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything going on here in our country that you need to know about here on a daily basis. In this video, I want to talk about multiple different things that are affecting millions of Americans here right now. And I want to talk about checks that are going out to millions of Americans this month. Stimulus checks, tax rebate checks, property tax rebate checks. There are at least 7 states. Actually, yeah, 7, maybe a little bit more here. We're going to talk. I have a couple other states as well that are sending out state checks, stimulus checks, inflation relief checks, whatever you want to call them, this month. That's right. And I'm going to show it to you directly here on the screen as well. Also, I'm going to go over here because of inflation, you actually might be paying less taxes. I know that sounds kind of counterintuitive, but yeah, and I'll show you that here directly on the screen. So yeah, part of my mission on this channel is to help as many people as possible. And if you know my channel, first of all, if you're new to my channel, or if you haven't yet, make sure to click the subscribe button down below and then the bell icon that appears. It's completely free to do so. It just makes it so you won't miss out on our new videos. Remember, the new videos come out here on my channel at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This way, YouTube will show you my videos and show you the videos that are most relevant to you as well. And also, thank you so much for liking and sharing these videos as well. So, it gets out to more people that need to see these videos. Remember, it's completely free, as well. So, part of my mission on this YouTube channel is to help as many people as I can and to spread the word on a lot of these things as well, on federal programs, federal things like this. Remember, the federal government has already sent out 3 stimulus checks, $40 billion of rent assistance, $9.9 billion of mortgage assistance that's going on right now, utility assistance that goes on every year. You can get several $100s to some states over 1,000 or more dollars as well. I have links down below in the description of this video on how to find the programs in your state for you as well. You can see videos on how to do that because for each state you have to go to your state website on how to apply for that. It's completely free to apply for that. So if you're low income, you definitely might want to apply for that. And again, I have a video showing you how to do that. So there's multiple different programs like HEAP and LEAP and LIHEAP for that as well, and especially with winter gas coming up here, that's going to be very expensive. Gas and natural gas for winter is 2 to 3 times more than it was a year ago, unfortunately. And a lot of this, no matter what side of the spectrum you're on, has to do with the war in Ukraine because natural gas from Russia to Europe has been cut off, and that has cut off to Europe, and that has caused the price to basically skyrocket. So, yeah, it's ridiculous. So, but because of inflation, a lot of states are sending out state stimulus checks, tax rebate checks, and because of inflation, take a look at this. Inflation could actually mean smaller tax bills for some, which it seems kind of weird at first to think this. But once you hear this, it will kind of make sense. And you'll see here each year the IRS makes some adjustments to certain tax provisions. Higher than usual inflation means that some taxpayers may see a smaller bill. Yeah, so typically in early November, the IRS releases a swath of adjustments to various tax provisions, including tax brackets, standard deductions, and certain tax credits for the forthcoming tax year. These adjustments are tied to the CPI for all urban consumers, CPIU. Remember that the Social Security increase was the CPIW, and the IRS goal to prevent bracket increase. So this is basically tied to one of the inflation indexes. In other words, these annual tweaks allow the IRS to ensure that inflation doesn't eat away at the original basis for the tax credit or threshold. For example, a married couple filing jointly with a taxable income of $80,000 or $40,000 each. Remember that the median and average incomes nowadays are around $50,000 a person, believe it or not, for a working person. In 2022, this would put the taxpayers in the 12% tax bracket. If that couple together were to receive a $10,000 pay bump as the cost of living adjustment in 2023, and no changes were made to the bracket, that raise would put a portion of their earnings into the next bracket to be taxed at 22%. Now, as Snowy comes here to say hi, it's a lot of people get confused. I know a pretty good amount of how taxes work. You don't when you go into the next tax bracket. Yeah, what do you think, buddy?
And why do you know a lot about taxes?
Well, first of all, I've been in business for a long time. But secondly, my father-in-law, my wife's father, is an accountant. So I've learned a lot throughout the years. When you go to the next tax bracket, you don't just, so in that example, when you go from 12% to 22%, what do you think, buddy?
Don't do it.
You don't just jump to 22% and pay 10% more on all your income. You have to fill up the entire 12% bucket of taxes. Then anything over that, you will start paying 22%. So, for example, just to pick numbers out of thin air here, if it was $70,000 was the cutoff for 12%, you'd pay yeah, you'd pay 12% up to 70,000. And then if your income was 80,000, on that extra 10,000 from 70 to 80, you'd pay 22% on that, if that makes sense. So you fill up each bucket. Okay? What do you think? Yeah. Snowy's getting pretty big here. And you see he got a little bump on his little face here. He lost a little bit of fur and it's growing back now. Yeah. Yeah, you got a little bump. But because of this, though, there's going to be an increase on the tax brackets. So some people will actually end up paying less in taxes or may actually end up, yeah, in the 0% tax bracket. By adjusting the income threshold each year to account for inflation, the IRS is acknowledging that the economic landscape is changing and you should not be penalized for your salary's purchasing power or inflation. Several tax analysts are expecting or anticipating a roughly 7% increase across numerous tax provisions of the tax brackets, compared with only a 3% increase last year. Which is actually a little bit strange because remember, the Social Security increase last year was 5.9%, and the Social Security increase this year is 8.7%. So it does look like the IRS is being a little stingy with that. On the low side, 7% instead of 8.7%, and 3% instead of 5.9% last year. It should be a little bit more, right? So just if this comes out, I'll give you the exact numbers when they come out. But if that was the actual numbers, the ceiling for the 12% tax bracket would rise from 83,550 to 89,450. This could help some folks out in a higher tax bracket and a potentially higher tax bill. Next up, these 7 states are sending out stimulus payments in October. And I actually have a few more after these 7 states as well. So here is the details of these. For several months in a row, the Federal Reserve, the Fed, has been implementing aggressive interest rate hikes in an effort to slow the pace of inflation. But that tactic doesn't seem to be working. And states are helping out with inflation relief checks or tax rebate checks to help out with some relief here. And these states are sending out money here in October. Number one, California, and the largest population state. Beginning in October, and these are starting to go out now, millions of California residents, actually about 23 million people, will receive checks worth up to $1,050 via either direct deposit or debit cards in the mail. The state expects 95% of stimulus payments to be issued before the end of the year. The way this will work for California is that it's $1,050 if you have 3 people. It's $350 per person, and that's how you can get up to the 1,050. So $350 for mom, $350 for dad would be $700 for 2 people. And if you have any children, that can be $350 each. So if you're a single person and you have 2 children, that's how you can reach the 1,050 as well. So, and I think that the income threshold is $75,000 for a single, 150,000 for a married couple. If you make a little bit over that, you can still get a check. It's just reduced a little bit. It goes down to like $250 or something like that. But most people that won't affect. So it's going to be for the vast majority of people, $350 per person, up to $1,050 per family. Pretty good, not bad. And I'll keep you up to date here as they're sending these out because they just started sending these out here about a week or so ago. And I've already seen in the comments some people have gotten these direct deposit mostly. So direct deposit. I don't think anybody with paper checks has gotten them. But let me know in the comments section if you've gotten them. Direct deposits, I'm sure, are mostly the people that have started to get them, and they're people with direct deposits that have gotten them previously with their data on file. So the state of Delaware. Delaware has been sending out $300 stimulus checks since May. While most residents have already received their money, some Delawareans haven't. As such, the state has plans to continue issuing this month. So Delaware is still sending out some $300 stimulus checks this month. So if you haven't got it, you might get it this month for the state of Delaware. Number 3, the state of Georgia. Georgia households are in line for up to $500 in stimulus payments. Like Delaware, Georgia has been sending those payments out since May, but those who haven't got a check yet may see them arrive here this month. Georgia also, so those are $250 per person, $500 for married couples. I think it's $375 for a single filer head of household. Georgia also sent out $350 checks for people on Medicaid, food stamps, cash welfare assistance, or subsidized health insurance for children. And this went out to more than 3 million people in Georgia. $350 checks here. This just went out a few weeks ago, over $1.2 billion of federal pandemic stimulus relief funds. So that was very welcome to some of the most needy people in Georgia, over 3 million people. Next up, the state of Hawaii. Hawaii has a very high cost of living to begin with, mostly because they're an island out in the middle of the Pacific, and a lot of things just have to be shipped there. But probably one of, if not the most beautiful states to visit or to live in. You can let me know your thoughts on that in the comments. But aloha, if you're there or if you've been there, or even if you haven't been, aloha is just really a word of love. So it's easy to see why residents may be struggling this year in particular. Eligible residents are entitled to a $300 stimulus check per person. And while those payments started going out uh, last month, paper checks are scheduled to go out this month. So, and I think that though you can get checks for dependents as well. So that can be a pretty good one. Illinois. Eligible Illinois residents are in line for a $100. Well, here I know this by heart. It's $50 per person, $100 for married couples, and $100 for dependents, up to 3 dependents, which is a total of $400 for a family there. But there's also a total of up to $300 additional for property tax owners, for a total of $700 there for Illinois. They also had some other things like a gas tax cut and a grocery tax cut and a couple different things there. They started sending out money last month, but they're still sending out these funds. As such, more stimulus dollars are expected to be sent out this entire month. State of Indiana. The state of Indiana is still sending out paper checks this month. It's a total of let me see here, 225 and 125. So I think it's a total of $325 being sent out to millions of people. I don't know the exact. They said they have 1.7 million checks to print. So at least 1.7 million people. I don't know if that's just paper checks or if there's more than that, but there's at least a couple million people probably getting these checks here. Next up, the state of Virginia. Virginia residents who qualify for stimulus aid are eligible for up to $250 per person. Those payments are set to go out in mid-October and continue to the rest of this year. And that's a $500 per married couple. Let me know if you have gotten these yet. I'm not sure if these have actually gone out yet or if they're going out here soon. So those are going out here sometime in the near future. Also, some other states here. South Carolina has a check going out here soon as well. This was one of the states that you had to have filed your taxes by October 17th to claim it. That's you got to make sure you pay attention and watch these videos. This was one of the videos I said you had to file by October 17th for this particular check. And I seen some people saying I didn't get the check by October 17th. It's for this specific state, and it means you had to file by October 17th. These are going to be going out here soon. The cap for the payments is set at $700, and it's going to be different for each person. It's one of these states that has a variable check, and you can calculate it on the South Carolina Department of Revenue, but it's up to $700 in South Carolina. The amount of the check is determined by the amount of individual income tax you owe minus any credits. And the checks are going to come via direct deposit, debit card, or check in the mail. The rebates were projected to cost roughly $1 billion that the state's going to be sending to South Carolinians. They say rebate checks will be rolled out by the end of the year. So that's the best date I have for you on that one. And I'll have some more for you guys here in upcoming episodes. So make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Click the subscribe button down below and the bell icon after you subscribe. It's completely free to do so. New videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you so much for liking and sharing these videos. There's a share button down below where you can copy the link and send it to any friends or family that needs to know about this or join our channel. Again, it's free, and I'll keep you up to date here. You can click this video here to see information on a federal stimulus check here as well. And here is my newest video on a $2,400 raise on the Social Security that could be coming out here in addition to the cost of living adjustment as well. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video.